for the third and final stop on this really worldwide press tour from Riyadh to New York to now Las Vegas. Canelo Alvarez, the biggest star in boxing for most of the last decade, faces Terrence Bud Crawford, a man who still holds the distinction in the minds of many, including my own.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a great fight. You're dealing with two all-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler. And one of the most skillful boxers alive. And then you have Canelo, who probably isn't the same guy as he was. One of the greatest of all time. Still has brutal knockout power.
Many reasons for both fighters. Super middleweight supremacy on the line. Legacy's on the line. Your namesake and reputation is on the line. And I just take my hat off to both of these fighters for putting everything on the line late in their careers the way that they are. This is rare, and it's becoming more and more rare in boxing.
Rafael kind of made a great point when talking about sizes. Because he said, if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. He said, people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package. It's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division.
Andre Ward tells us a secret. The best boxer in history is going to fight Canelo versus Crawford. He was just the third person in the ring and wasn't a soldier. It feels like electricity. The first round was really exciting. This is a whole new level of fighting.
I'm out as well for getting this done. So I see y'all in Vegas, man. Part of me wants to be home watching this fight in street clothes, but I gotta take the street clothes off. I got work to do. I gotta put that suit on, get ringside with John and Max, and call this fight like I know we can. Huge event, huge implications, a historic night, and I'm happy to be a part. I hope to see you in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. If not, man, tune in live on Netflix.
At the same time, Shane Mosley talked about the upcoming match. Even though he knew Crawford had many outstanding skills, he stressed that his weight was a problem. He said that Crawford was strong enough to beat anyone, but he wouldn't mess around too much. But he also said that going up against someone naturally bigger like Canelo is not easy and comes with a lot of risk.
Canelo might be able to get Crawford, but anything can happen. I mean, Crawford can catch him on chin too. I mean, it's not like it's a for sure thing. It just seems that Canelo has speed and his power at that weight, so it's gonna be hard for Crawford to do anything.
Both winners were famous figures in their time, so the trailer does a good job of showing how big the fight was. Canelo is a two-time undisputed king who has taken many risks to become undisputed. He has dominated every level of the heavier classes and wants to break weight rules. Crawford, on the other hand, made history by totally breaking the rules of weight classes.
How many fighters have ever been called the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? These are two of them, and they're gonna fight.
On September 13th, the moment arrives. Canelo versus Crawford, a true super.
But one thing was heard by everyone in the fighting world. Hold on. Some commentators and former winners were still worried about how the growth of divisions would affect Crawford. Showbiz, the adult, said that he thinks Canelo Alvarez came into this fight with more desire, which could mean that the Mexican star is smarter than he seems. He was also talking about food, which could change how the war goes.
I think Saul Canelo Alvarez is hungrier than Terrence Bud Crawford. First of all, Canelo Alvarez, if you look at that press conference or the first series of press conferences, where Canelo said one thing, he thinks that His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh is against him.
And I know Turkey is in your corner, but look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad.
Then he explained his reasoning, recalling heated incidents at press conferences where Canelo had endured abuse and insults. He thinks that these kinds of things will bring out Canelo's inner beast and make him fight like a fierce warrior on fight night.
Two, how Terrence Crawford in the second press conference walked up to Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez pushed him because he didn't like that shit. He thought he was being fronted on. And he looked at Crawford and he said, I'm going to remember that.
He was worried about Crawford's sudden weight gain. He was careful not to stress how hard it would be for a huge man like Canelo to suddenly gain weight. Sanchez noticed Crawford's quick hands and technical skill, but he made it clear that long-term success would need pressure and strength, which is where Canelo excels. Jojo Diaz thinks that Canelo Alvarez's strength will make a big difference in the fight. He said that the fight would be excellent. He made his point by explaining why he was sure that things would be different if Canelo hit his opponent hard and clean.
Canelo versus Crawford, who you got?
I got Canelo winning. I think Canelo's gonna knock him out.
I think Canelo's gonna hurt him.
I think he's just too powerful, man, too strong. I hope Terence Crawford does well and stuff, man, because I love the way he fights, and he's a hell of a fighter, and I respect him as well too. So I hope he puts up a good fight and everything. But at the end of the day, man, Canelo, if he catches you, dude, it's gonna knock.
He used history to support his perspective, telling everyone that he had seen what happened to Canelo Alvarez's earlier opponents. He said that skilled, experienced fighters came in with plans, but they gave up when they saw Canelo's best moves. He said it was normal and didn't care how wonderful they looked at first. It was too much for them to handle. The brain of Terence Crawford is the same. Crawford said the result would be the same if he had to accept that punishment. Crawford wouldn't be able to fight Canelo's strength.
End of the day, I always say this. He took Golovkin's biggest hit, and he took Bivol' biggest hit. I don't think Crawford could knock him out.
I think Terence Crawford can knock Canelo out if he catches him, because with Gennady Golovkin hit harder, but he was a lot slower.
Yeah.
So when Canelo seen the punches coming, he's able to embrace. I think if Terence Crawford catches Canelo with a shot that he doesn't see coming, boom, then he could hurt him.
You think so?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a matter of skill. It was about how things move in the real world. How would your strength, toughness, and endurance help you fight someone who had been successful and unbeatable for years at super middleweight and higher? Crawford may have elite-level skills and intelligence, but it would be very risky for him to try to take on Canelo's natural bulk and proven hitting power. Brian McIntyre, who worked with Bomac and helped Terence Crawford reach the top, stressed that Canelo Alvarez's status as a knockout artist does not mean he will win this fight. Based on what Bomac said, Canelo's power drops after rounds 5 and 6, especially when fighting opponents who stay busy, apply pressure, and move around.
Is the bigger guy, right? But
He ain't the bigger guy.
that's what they say. They say he's wider, he's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
Hey, shit. I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
Bomac saw strength, a high IQ, and the ability to change strategies once the fight started. Bomac thinks that Crawford's accuracy and timing will start to show when Canelo slows down and throws less. Bomac says that Crawford will be in charge and will decide how many rounds are needed to win the title by a big margin.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. If you slow down, that's a fucking...
Crawford also criticized his previous performances, doubting that the Mexican winner had experienced better times. He thanked Alvarez and said that his one bad showing shouldn't take away from how great he was. Crawford was glad to see Canelo at his most focused, because he knew that anything less would be a terrible mistake.
Just fight my fight, you know what I mean? A lot of people, they have their opinions. They have, what's going to happen in the fight, but they don't know what they're talking about. They just got to watch the fight, and then after the fight, then they make their comments, because a lot of people is just premeditated, just, talk.
Then he spoke out loudly that he would not be swayed by prophecies or what most people thought. He promised to fight instead and let the truth come out. "This storm is coming," Crawford said in a steady, calm voice.
The best fighter in the world. You better be taking it serious. That goes to show, how serious he's taking me and how much he respects me. Because, if I haven't fought anyone, if I was too small, if I was, all these things that all the media said I was, then he wouldn't need these guys to help prepare him to fight me. He wouldn't, need all the help that, he's getting. But I'm happy that he's getting the help that he needs because, after, September 13th, there'll be no excuses.
Crawford's side is confident, pointing to the fact that he has easily moved up to higher levels and can seemingly beat outstanding opponents with sharp brilliance when he keeps his cool. Many people still remember Crawford's win over Errol Spence Jr., which he achieved by settling in and being completely cruel. It shows that he could handle tough situations. Anthony Durrell said excellent things about Crawford and called him a true killer who keeps his opponents safe. He talked about how flexible Crawford was in every situation. He was amazed by Crawford, who is one of the best boxers of all time, but he was worried that Crawford wouldn't be able to stay focused during the fight for some reason. Canelo has a history of struggling against pure boxers, yet he often finds himself in precarious situations.
For my boy, I'm gonna ride with him, but I keep going back and forth, man. Terrence is such a dog, bro. Like he gonna come and bring the best out of whoever. He gonna make you stay on his P's and Q's. He adjusts to every fucking thing. He's just he a great fighter. Canelo can't deal with boxers. The thing is, can Terrence Crawford box 12 rounds and stay focused on what he needs to do?
Durrell then said that Crawford was focused and calm, which was important because Canelo was strong. He said Crawford sometimes tries too hard to show how tough he is, and that it would be bad for him to do that against Alvarez. The old man says Crawford will win, but he can't do anything else besides fighting, which is good for Canelo.
Keep going back and forth with because he can beat him, but he just got to stay focused on what he needs to do, and that's box. Because Canelo, I ain't gonna say he can't. He just have a hard time dealing with it. So we gonna see, and can Bud, stand that power that Canelo, give him. But like T-Bud get hit sometimes. Because he wanna prove to people that he a dog and he got this and that.
Wade Plemons was talking about how important the fight was and how heavy both of the opponents were. He told Canelo to focus on this fight because it has something extra to give.
There's just something about this one that makes it special. I don't know if it's the stakes on the line for Bud Crawford moving all the way up. I don't know if it's Canelo having this rejuvenation and this refocused mindset and attitude toward this fight to once again, even though he doesn't really need to prove that he's one of the greatest ever, once again taking that challenge.
This is due to the event's connection to Netflix, which has broken numerous records. It was important to Clemens that this fight was not just another title fight, but a turning point in the sport. He sees the fight as the beginning of a new era in boxing, one in which professional sports and media will meet, with the end goal of giving the sport more power, attention, and respect.
With the Ring magazine and Turkey Yellow Shake trying to breathe life into the sport of boxing, but this one just is so important, I think, on a massive scale for what boxing's new era is going to be and stepping into a new plane and becoming, a sport that is refocused, especially here in America, as one of the big sports that we want to watch. And I think it all really starts with
one of the talented American champions, Alicia Baumgardner, recently talked about what makes this fight unique and why it should happen. She said that Terrence Crawford had to deal with many problems, and that Canelo Alvarez's size was the most noticeable one. But she said that Canelo has a lot of knowledge and a long career fighting different styles, which gives him an edge in reading and adapting to opponents.
I would have to agree with the size. And I also have to note that experience is everything when it comes to boxing. And I feel like Canelo is a well-seasoned fighter, and he's been in the ring plenty of times with multiple great fighters. And we also see him with Bivol, who he lost to, which didn't really do anything bad to his career. He just took a challenge, which Terrence Crawford is doing. So I commend them both.
Spencer Oliver let Canelo Alvarez know that this fight might be the hardest he has ever faced in his career. Oliver told Terrence Crawford a different story, though. Crawford isn't just getting ready to fight. Right now is a beautiful time. Crawford is very likely to lose, but if he wins, it could change the history of a boxer. Oliver talked about it as one of the few times in history when a single win could make a person famous. A huge task that could either leave a lasting mark on Crawford's life or break his heart in the brightest of lights.
Best fight in boxing, bar none. You know, we've got two of the best fighters in the world, and Terence Crawford trying to do what no other's done before, a four division world champion, and, you know, jumping up from light middleweight now to super middle, trying to achieve the unachievable against Canelo Alvarez, who is pound for pound. Can he do it? I think he can. I think that this guy creates history. Terence Crawford is that good.
Then he said how brilliant Terence Crawford was. Oliver said that Crawford's skills are so highly developed that he could be one of the best welterweights ever. Bob Marley and Sugar Ray Leonard. He could go with Crawford. But Oliver told everyone that being excellent isn't just something you say. It's something you show when you're criticized. There is a fire in Crawford in September. The final test, the night that will either make him a legend or leave him with questions that will never be answered.
He lives with any welterweight. His best weight really has been at welterweight. He lives with any welterweight in any division for me, and that's including all the greats. You know, you're going back to your Roberto Durans, Sugar Ray Leonards, all those guys. I think that he is that good, and we find out in September. It's going to be fantastic.
This means that there will be a fight where tradition and greatness are at stake. Canelo Alvarez will be up against his toughest opponent yet, and Terence Crawford will be trying to become known as one of the best fighters of all time. There will definitely be an evening in September when skill, heart, and history all come together. What boxer will be the face of the new era? Feel free to write your thoughts in the space below. Like this movie and subscribe if you feel the stress. Coming up is a night that could change boxing forever. We will be back with more fight breakdowns soon.